Unprofessional, and today I'm going to build a gate. So this is what I'm currently working with, a rusty old chain link fence that we can't get in and out of, and I am going to remove all of this, set some posts, and try my hand at a gate.
It was a challenge to get the old posts out of the ground for two reasons. One, because part of the left post was cemented to the wall, and two, because the posts were buried at the proper ratio of 1:2, meaning half of the height above ground was buried underground. A ratio of 1:2 is ideal, and 1:3 is okay too. I'm gonna go somewhere in between the two.
So I dug my posts about 4 inches extra, so they're about 3 feet 4 inches. The reason is because I am going to add rock to the bottom of each hole. I'm using pressure treated 4x4s, but I still don't want the end of the 4x4s making ground contact. This will just, it won't prevent rot. Eventually over time, any kind of wood touching the ground is going to rot, but this will slow the process. So first thing is I'm just going to scoop some rock directly into the ground. Also, my holes are 10 inches across. Really, I probably should make these 12 inches in diameter, but these post hole diggers, which are great, do just about a 10-inch hole.
My posts are 10 feet long, and I'm burying them 3 feet deep. I use quick setting cement, which is super easy. First, you fill the hole 1/3 of the way with water, and then you pour in the cement. If it's too dry on the top, you just add a little bit more water. It's best to try to start with the post somewhat level, but the real leveling and adjustment comes after the mix is already in. I used a string to be sure that the posts were parallel with each other, and then 2 levels to make sure that they were straight with the ground. You can also use a post leveler. To prevent water from seeping into the post holes, overfill the holes slightly and use a spade to angle the cement down and away from the posts.
Okay, our posts are all set and we're ready to start building the rest of our fence. So this is a really tiny little fence. If you had a bigger fence, you would want more posts. I'm gonna leverage this wall here to rest our support. So I'm actually not putting in any more posts. That's the sound of a baby that the cameraman is holding. So what I've done is I've attached a bracket here and I leveled it out here so I know that it is perfectly level. And what I'll probably do, I'll put a nail through here and then I'm going to attach this with a masonry screw just to keep it really steady. This is still the main support, so I'm not that worried about it, but just to make sure that nothing pushes it in this way, that's probably what I'll do. Should I have waited for my post to dry before I do this?
Probably.
To anchor this to the side of the house, I'm using some masonry screws and just putting the bracket, the same way I did it here, I'm putting the brackets right against the house. So this is really secure.
Let me see if I can.
What's the measurements there for them? All right, so we got to get one more in and then I'm going to put up the pickets.
I use decking screws, but you can also use nails. And I cut down the pickets to the exact size I wanted. I didn't pre-drill, but if I did this again, I would because I had some issues with the pickets pulling away as I screwed them in.
Well, it's day 2. Nothing fell over during the night, so that's a good sign. And I'm ready to build my gate. I'm gonna do kind of the classic Z style gate. And then hopefully I'm going to be able to attach my 1x6s to create a little arbor pergola top too. To make my frame, what I've done is I've measured the distance between my 2 posts and subtracted 1 inch. That way I have a 1/2 inch on both sides for the gate to swing open and to attach the hardware. This is not scientific and there's probably a million ways to do this, but this is how I'm gonna do it. So I wanna make sure that I have this, the distance that I want, which I've already pre-measured. So this is 39 inches. Now I have squared these up so that I know that they're 90 degrees or that they're level with each other. And I check this is good. This is good. Okay, now I could do some math on a piece of paper and I could figure out the angle that I need. The other thing you can do pretty quickly is just take the board you're going to use. I'm going to put this here at one end because I know that I want my Z to go to this corner and then over here to this corner. I'm just going to get under here and I'm going to draw my cuts. So I matched up my angle, my miter right here with this angle, and I'm just going to cut it the same here as I cut it there, and that way I know that my Z frame will be even, will be level, will be all things that a gate needs to be. That'll work.
The best way to attach the frame pieces is either with pocket screws or with a few really long screws drilled into each joint like this.
Okay, my frame's done, and the rest of this is kind of just a matter of preference. So I'm going to attach a 2x2 here to make kind of a nice top so that I can grab, open, and close the gate. And then my pickets are going to extend 8.5 inches below the bottom of this. Okay, my door is ready. So all I need to do now is level this out. Make sure that my hinges are really level. I'm going to attach these first, and then so all of the hinges are going to be attached to the 4x4 first, and then I'll level out the door and attach the door.
I made a pretty big unprofessional mistake that I had to correct after I finished filming. I hung the hinges on the wrong side, which caused my gate to sag. To prevent this, the angled support needs to meet the latch at the top and the hinge at the bottom. I had two choices to fix my mistake: switch the hinges or unscrew, flip, and reattach the angled piece. I did the latter. So just to review this step, you're going to level the hinges and mark the holes on the 4x4. Pre-drill and attach the hinges to the 4x4. Level the door, mark the holes, and then attach the hinges to the gate. If you've made it this far, you'll have no problem attaching the latch. It's easiest to start with the latching mechanism on the 4x4 and then place the other piece. I lined up the vertical supports with the bottom of the Z-frame of the gate. This took a little pre-planning. I also adjusted the lengths of my planks to the subtle slope of the ground.
So I've got a few things I'm going to do to add some finishing touches. One is I'm adding like this, some horizontal planks. And what that's going to do is it's just going to kind of make this look neater. So if you see this right here, it looks a lot nicer. So I added this here, add another one up here, and I'm going to add a row down there to cover up these screws. That looks a lot nicer. For my last step, I'm going to create a little arbor so that I can grow a vine up and over this fence. My plan is to use 1x6s. I'm going to angle them and attach on both sides, and then I'm going to top it with some 2x2s. I set my miter to 32 degrees for no other reason than that's what I like. You might want a steeper cut or maybe not quite as steep. That's fine, whatever you want. What I'm doing is I'm putting the edge of my board in 1 inch. That way when I make the cut, it is going to leave a space here, again, just for aesthetics. And I'm going to cut all the ends of my boards exactly like this.
You will need 2 identical boards for the arbor. Level the first board and clamp it to the 4x4, leaving about 2 inches of space at the top for a cap. It looks nice to use lag bolts, but I didn't have any, so I just used deck screws and it was fine. Decide how far apart you want the top slats and cut the 2x2s accordingly. And then use nails or screws to attach them to both of the cross pieces.
Success! I got the arbor up. Gate works, even with one hand. And all of these is a coat of stain or paint, probably gonna stain it. And then I gotta plant my vines to kind of finish off the top.
And just because I love a good before and after, here it is. I have to say the new gate is super functional and it looks way better than the old chain link.
Thanks for watching. This has been Laura from The Unprofessional. To see written instructions for this project and other DIY projects, visit my website, theunprofessional.com. And if you like this video, please don't forget to click the like button and subscribe.